welcome to another green marble crochet tutorial and Green Narcissus DIY crafts and entertainment project. And for this one we're going to be making a very quick, very simple sparkly biscuit Christmas coaster. So yeah, there's not a lot we can say about this one. It's really quick, really simple to make. All you're going to need is some twine and a crochet hook. And if you want to add sparkles to it, you can do that. But if you don't, it's going to look cute either way. So yeah, I think you're going to love it. I love it. We should just get straight into making it. But if you haven't subscribed and you would like to subscribe to join me for some more tutorials, I would love to have you join me. A big thank you to my patrons. Thank you for your love and thank you for your support. Also, thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. And let's just get straight into making this. Alright, now for this design, I'm going to be using this twine that I got from the bazaar down the road. And that's the same stuff that I used for my twine and mason jar lanterns that I made last year. So it's pretty easy to find. You can probably just find it at any craft shop. And this is the label for that. So yeah, 10 meters, just very basic stuff. But really nice to use and always looks really good. Anyway, so yes, as you know, we're making our sparkly biscuit coasters. Sparkly biscuit Christmas coasters. The coaster itself is very easy to make, and it doesn't take long at all, like really quick, unless you want to sew in the sequins, which takes a fair bit of time. But you know, you can do anything with these. You could probably just weave through some really nice cotton, different colored cottons, just, you know, make it your own. Anyway, let's begin. Let's begin by finding the end of our twine. So here we are at the end of our twine. We're going to start by making a slip knot. So I'm going to make a slip knot. And I'm going to keep the end of this knot, or keep the tail end of this very short, because I'm going to crochet that into the beginning of the coaster. I'm also using 4mm hook for this design. Alright, now with our slip knot, what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the hook to the knot, just like this. And we're going to begin by making a chain of 4. So for chain stitch, it's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's our chain of 4, just like that. So we made a chain of 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into that first chain back at the beginning. So counting back 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into that first chain. And there we have formed a little chain circle. So because it's twine and not yarn, it's going to seem a little tight to begin with, but that's okay. Persevere and it's going to be fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain up 1, and for this coaster, for this design, we're going to be working with half double crochets. So bear with me. What you've got to do is you've got to find the center of that chain circle. So see, if I pull it apart a little bit like that, there's the center just there. So we've chained up 1 and we're going to be making half double crochets. So to do that, we yarn over, we insert our hook into the center of the chain circle just there. So insert your hook through there, then yarn over, pull up a loop through the center of the chain circle, just like that. Then yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that's a half double crochet. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting 9 half double crochets into the chain circle, because we're counting the chain 1 as a stitch. So just move, so we've done 1, then I'm going to do 2, moving on to 3, 3. So yes, we're going to be doing 9. We won't go through all 9 together, but put in your 9 half double crochets. We'll meet back up when we've done that, and we'll talk about how to join the round and move on to round 2. Alright, now here I am, and I've put in my 9 half double crochets into that chain circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the stitch that's above that chain of 1 from the beginning. So that stitch just there, we're going to insert our hook into that stitch, just like, focus the camera. we're going to insert our hook into that stitch just there, like that, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and then also pull through the last stitch at the end of the round for a slip stitch. So you've slip stitched the first round together. Okay, so like I said, the first stitch, or the chain of 1, is going to count as a stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 1, and because this is counting as a stitch, we're only going to be putting 1 half double crochet into that stitch directly beneath the slip stitch in the chain of 1, or directly beside the slip stitch. And we're going to be putting 2 stitches into every stitch around. But because this chain of 1 counts as a stitch, we'll do it together. It's yarn over, and into that stitch right beneath that chain of 1, we're going to put 1 half double crochet. 1 half double crochet. Then moving on to the next stitch along, we're going to be putting 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2, and you're going to do that for every stitch around. So by the end of the round, you will have 20 half double crochets, well actually 19, because the chain of 1 is going to count as a stitch. So we'll meet back up at the end of this round, 2 half double crochets into every stitch, and we'll talk about how to join the round and move on to round 3. Okay, here I am at the end of that round, round 2, and we're going to once again slip stitch into the stitch above the chain of 1 from the beginning. So right into that stitch at the top. Slip stitching to close the round. So because it's twine rather than yarn, it can seem a little stiff, but persevere and you will get there. All right, there we go. All right, round 2 is all done. Now for round 3, we once again chain up 1. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting 2 stitches into every first stitch. So remember, the chain at the beginning counts as a stitch, so we're only going to be putting 1 half double crochet into that stitch right beneath it, so 1 half double crochet, and that makes up 2 stitches to begin with. We have made these stitches too tight, but it's fine. So there we go, we've got 2 stitches into that first stitch. Now moving on to the second stitch, we're only going to be doing 1 half double crochet. Then moving on to the next stitch along, we're going to be putting in 2 half double crochets, so 1 and 2. Then moving on to the next one along, it's going to be 1. So the pattern goes 2, 1, 2, 1, till you get to the end of the round, and by the end of this round you will end up with a stitch count of 30. So once you've done that, we'll meet back up when you've got your 30 stitches, including that chain of 1. We're going to meet back up again, we're going to join the round, and we're going to talk about how to do round 4. Alright, here I am at the end of the round, and once again we're going to slip stitch into that stitch above the chain of 1. Try and get right into that stitch just there to close the round. Oh, it's very tight. There we go. Alright, and there's round 3. Okay, so looking good so far. Now we're going to move on to round 4. So for round 4, what we're going to do is we're going to once again chain up 1, and again keeping that chain of 1 as the first stitch, you're going to be putting a half double crochet into that stitch right beneath that chain of 1, so right into there, so that counts for 2 stitches already. Now what we do for round 4 is we're going to be putting 2 stitches into every first stitch, and then into every second and third stitch it's just 1, so it goes 2 1 1 2 1 1. So into the next stitch it's going to be 1 stitch, so 1 half double crochet, then into the next stitch 1 half double crochet, and then into the next stitch, which is going to be the next in the sequence of, well, the next one in the next sequence, if you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, so 2 stitches into the next stitch, and then 1 stitch into the following 2 stitches. So you see what I mean about the pattern, so that by the end of this round you're going to end up with 40 stitches. So once we've done that, we'll just talk about how we're going to close this round, and this is going to be the final round for the coaster. So just like that, yes, we'll meet back up at the end of round 4, and we'll talk about closing it up. We'll talk about how we're going to weave in the ends. All right, see you soon. So remember, it's 2 1 1 2 1 1 till the end of the round, 40 stitches. Okay, see you soon. All right, now here we are at the end of round 4, and once again we're going to be slip stitching into that stitch above the chain 1 from the beginning to close the round. Just like that. Yes, okay, good. And that's the last round, so we've finished, and all we do now is we yarn over, pull through, and then just pull through the remaining twine, or you can cut it if it's too long, and pull that through to tie it off. Just pull that tight like that. Now I'm going to go through weaving in the ends with you, because you kind of want it to look a little sort of neat and even, so there's not too much of a bump where the end join is. So I'm going to grab my darning needle, going to grab it, going to thread that onto the end of the twine, threading that onto the end of the twine, pull that through like that. So that 10 meters is kind of perfect because it's, you know, almost used up all of the twine to make this coaster. And I love that. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is, see where you've tied off just here? I'm going to weave back in. So here's the back, obviously. Here's the front. I'm going to weave back in beside that stitch just there. That last stitch. Pull that through like so. And then just pull it down so it kind of hides that end bit. Pull that down into the stitch like this. And there you go. Sort of makes it look a little more seamless, you know what I mean? Just a little bit, like that. All right, and then what we do is we just sort of shove the darning needle through stitches at the back and try and hide this bit of yarn. So just weave it in through some stitches just there, just like that. You can even, yeah, do it however you want. I just do it like this. Doesn't need to be too fancy. Just maybe move down to the next row. Anyway, yeah, so we're weaving this in. Let's do this quickly together. So yeah, like you've seen, I've sort of embellished mine with some sequins. That's actually quite time consuming. Like I said, you don't have to do that. You can probably use some sort of other gold cotton or gold thread or something. Embellish yours with that, or you can just leave them as they are, just like this. Kind of rustic, kind of cute. Yes, I think. All right, so yes, that's what I've done. I am actually thinking about putting silicone sealant onto the back so that they're a little more durable. But I mean, they're not undurable now. Is that a word? I don't know. They're not durable at the moment. They're actually okay. But yeah, see what happens. If I do put the silicone sealant on, I'll do a community post to let everybody know how that goes. So yeah, see, I've just weaved that in through a few stitches. We'll weave in a couple more together. And then yes, let's weave that through. Grab your scissors, wherever they are. Oh yeah, there they are. Okay. Grab your scissors, trim that off just there. Like that. And there you go, you've got yourself a nice little twine coaster. But yes, obviously for the purpose of this tutorial, they are sparkly biscuit Christmas coasters. So that's what we've done. I am really pleased with these. I think they're really cute. I am actually going to have to go and get some more twine because I only had enough to make 3. And I want to make 6. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you've made some lovely coasters. And if you wanted to persevere and get a little bit more consumed by time, I hope you did sew on some sequins and make some sparkly biscuit ones. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you again for the next tutorial. Thanks. Thanks for watching.